The Lady in Black of Fort Warren, the complete true story. On a small island in Boston Harbor stands an old military fortress known as Fort Warren. Built in the 1800s, the massive granite fort once protected the city from enemy attacks and later served as a prison during the American Civil War. Today, thousands of visitors come to explore its dark tunnels, empty corridors, and forgotten chambers. But many believe that something else still lives inside those stone walls. They call her the Lady in Black, and according to countless witnesses, she has been haunting Fort Warren for more than a century. This is her terrifying story. The legend begins during the Civil War in the 1860s. At that time, Fort Warren was being used to hold Confederate prisoners. Among those prisoners was a Southern soldier named Lieutenant Andrew Lanier. Far away in the South, Andrew's wife, Melanie Lanier, missed him desperately. She couldn't bear the thought of her husband spending years behind prison walls. Determined to see him again, she devised a dangerous plan. Disguising herself as a man, Melanie secretly traveled hundreds of miles north. She crossed enemy territory and eventually reached Boston Harbor. Her goal was simple, but incredibly risky: help her husband escape from Fort Warren. For weeks, she carefully studied the fort and searched for an opportunity. Finally, she managed to sneak inside. The exact details of what happened next remain uncertain. Historical records and local legends tell slightly different versions of the story. However, according to the most widely accepted account, Melanie successfully contacted her husband and arranged an escape attempt. But fate had other plans. As the couple tried to flee, guards discovered them. Chaos erupted inside the fort. Soldiers rushed through the corridors. Orders echoed through the stone passageways. Panic spread as the escape attempt failed. Then came the tragedy. One nervous guard saw a figure moving through the darkness. Believing the person was an escaping prisoner, he raised his rifle and fired. The shot struck Melanie. She collapsed to the ground. Only after approaching her body did the soldiers realize their terrible mistake. The person they had shot was not a Confederate soldier. It was a woman. Melanie Lanier died inside Fort Warren before she could reunite with her husband. Some versions of the story claim that her husband watched helplessly as she took her final breath. Others say he learned of her death afterwards. Whatever the truth may be, the tragic event became one of the most heartbreaking stories in the fort's history. But according to countless witnesses, Melanie never truly left. Years passed. The Civil War ended, prisoners were released, soldiers moved on. Yet strange reports continued to emerge from Fort Warren. Visitors began describing encounters with a mysterious woman dressed entirely in black. At first, people dismissed the sightings as imagination. After all, old forts are dark, lonely places filled with shadows and echoes. But the reports kept coming. Park employees, tourists, security guards, and paranormal investigators all claimed to have seen the same figure. Many described a tall woman wearing a long black dress. She often appeared near stairways, tunnels, and isolated sections of the fort. Witnesses reported seeing her silently standing at the end of corridors. Others claimed she walked through walls before vanishing into thin air. Some visitors said they noticed a woman staring at them from a distance. When they approached, she disappeared completely. Even more unsettling were the encounters involving children. Numerous families visiting the fort reported that their children began speaking to an unseen woman. Parents would suddenly notice their child waving, smiling, or carrying on a conversation with someone who wasn't there. When asked who they were talking to, the children would often reply with a similar answer: "A sad lady in black." The consistency of these accounts disturbed many investigators. Children had no knowledge of the legend, yet they frequently described the same mysterious figure. As the years passed, additional paranormal experiences were reported. Visitors heard footsteps echoing through empty hallways, doors opened and closed on their own, cold spots appeared without explanation. People felt invisible hands brushing against their shoulders. Some claimed to hear faint crying coming from abandoned sections of the fort. Others reported hearing a woman's voice whispering softly in the darkness. One of the most famous modern encounters occurred during guided tours. Several visitors reported seeing a woman dressed in black walking ahead of their group. Assuming she was another tourist, they continued following her. Moments later, she turned a corner and vanished. When the group reached the same location, there was nowhere she could have gone. No exits, no hiding places, nothing. She had simply disappeared. Paranormal investigators who visited Fort Warren brought cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic sensors, hoping to capture evidence. Some reported unexplained photographs showing dark, human-shaped figures. Others claimed to record strange sounds and voices that could not be explained. Skeptics argue that Fort Warren's dark architecture, historical atmosphere, and powerful legend influence people's perceptions. They believe visitors may mistake shadows, reflections, and ordinary sounds for paranormal activity. Yet believers point to the sheer number of consistent sightings spanning decades. How could so many unrelated people describe the same woman? Why do children who know nothing about the legend often mention a sad woman in black? And why do reports continue to this day? No one knows for certain. Today, Fort Warren remains one of America's most famous haunted locations. Thousands visit every year hoping to catch a glimpse of its legendary ghost. Some leave disappointed. Others leave convinced they encountered something beyond explanation. And somewhere within those ancient granite walls, many believe Melanie Lanier still wanders the corridors where her life was tragically cut short, searching, waiting, unable to find peace. So if you ever visit Fort Warren and notice a woman dressed in black standing silently in the shadows, don't assume she's another tourist, because according to one of America's most chilling ghost stories, you may have just met the Lady in Black of Fort Warren.